What's up Mod Squad, MOB back with another Division 2 video. So in my last video I gave you guys a build that allowed you to compete with true Patriot builds and counter status effect builds. From the feedback that I got from you guys, you were very happy with the build and left a lot of positive feedback. In today's video I am going to give you a build that counters groups of true Patriot. I'm also going to show you guys a PVE version of the build, so there is something for both PvP and PvE players. So normally when it comes to PvP I talk about outplaying and things that involve some form of skill, but the Division 2 has got to a point where you are forced to run cheese in order to beat cheese. The new rule of PvP is you have to run something as cheesy as what you're fighting. So with that said, a hard counter to true Patriot right now is Negotiators Dilemma. Now when people initially saw this gear set, they only really paid attention to the first two talents, that being the crit chance and crit damage. A lot of players overlook the rest of the gear set, which in my opinion is just as cheesy as the original Negotiators Dilemma, where you'd get a free auto-targeted grenade that would give you a free kill for losing a fight, or just a free kill in general if somebody broke your armor. The current version to me is just as bad as the original set, and I'll explain and show why before we get into any builds. I will say though, as horrible as this is for PvP, it's really good and a lot of fun for PvE. With that said, let's go over the 4-piece talent. Critical hits mark a enemy for 20 seconds up to 3 marks total. When you critical hit a marked enemy, all other enemies take 60% of the damage dealt. Now if you run the chest, that goes up to 5 marks. If you use the backpack, that 60% damage goes up to 100%. Whenever a marked enemy dies, gain plus 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times or until combat ends. So basically, you mark players with a crit, which is pretty easy if you have 60% crit chance, kill one of them and they will fall. And it doesn't matter how far away they are either.
Was it about here you were?
Rogue hive detected. Serious trauma detected. Agent incapacitated.
That's fine, I'm gonna mute my mic.
The set also is currently broken because enemies can respawn in still marked. On top of that, you can also use this with NPCs to gain kills on players. Pay attention to the bottom left kill feed.
Here, defender drone somewhere. That's yours. Quick, he's nearly off the buff.
Now as you saw, that was pretty corny. I have used this build for the video and in my experience I can say yeah, it is fun, but only because it's so stupidly easy to use, which means those who lack skill or any skill in PvP can kill you without even having to fight you, which to me is something that should not be in PvP. I have also gone against this build in a dark zone, used my latest build I put out and had a efficient armor kit active and still I got killed. It's crazy overpowered in PvP, hence why after I got the PvP footage I needed, I then re-rolled the set into my PvE build. I just felt cheap using it in PvP. To me, it's so corny, I can only view it as a troll build or a build someone would pull out if they needed the max amount of cheese in PvP. I have to say though, if this set only worked for solo players, that in my eyes would be great. This set would be absolutely amazing, but sadly, Division games will never have sets, made for solo players only. So with that said guys, now we have discussed the set and I've given my opinion on it, we're going to get into the builds. Also, do not forget to leave your opinion down in the comment section below. Right guys, so I want to start off by saying when it came to PvP, I didn't have the most optimal build, I just used what I had, which is what you see here. When it comes to Negotiator Dilemma pieces, I would have really preferred to have the backpack, then I could have switched out the gloves for contractor gloves, and then I would have ran my Seska chest piece. Then I could have spec'd into something else rather than crit chance on everything. I would also re-roll some of the weapon damage attributes, the core attributes to blues. I'd probably got to about 1.4 million armor and then spec the rest into crit chance and damage. So yeah, if I was going to run it PvP, that's pretty much how I'd run it. So guys, looking at my PvE version of this build, I've based it around rifles. And of course, we had the baker's dozen, because again, I still cannot find an M1A that has all these max rolls and has a good damage talent. It's just impossible. I have farmed my backside off and I just can't come across one, so I've pretty much given up. My secondary is the military MK17, using that for vindictive just to gain a bit more crit damage, because I don't need the crit chance because we are capped at 60%. All the mods on this gun are crit chance. When it comes to the baker's dozen, we have the headshot damage scope, we have crit chance on the laser pointer, and we also have the extra 5 rounds. Now I'm using this very similar to one of my previous builds, where of course using focused, pairing that with the shield. That might get patched or fixed somewhere down the line. I thought it was going to come in one of the latest updates, but it hasn't, so obviously it's no priority to the devs. On my backpack, we have vigilance for the extra 25% weapon damage. Taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. I managed to get a new backpack that I could roll crit chance onto. My previous backpack, I believe, had headshot damage, as you can see right there, and I believe we have higher repair skills. Oh no, a little bit less at 15.9%. So yeah, we'll just run through this build real quick. On the mask, we have 12.7% weapon damage and max crit chance. Chest piece, it's a Providence for the headshot damage. We have 11.7% weapon damage, 6.4% headshot damage, which I'd prefer to be crit damage, 4% critical hit chance, and a mod with 11.1% critical hit damage. And again, focused, if you want to go over that, pause the video to read over it. Moving on to the holster, we have 12.3% weapon damage and again max crit chance. The backpack, looking at it again, we have 1 skill tier, we have 15.9% repair skills, 4.4% critical hit chance, and a mod giving us 18.6% repair skills. And then again, we have vigilance. Now I am running the tactician specialist, giving us another skill tier, so we currently have 2. So we get a nice heal from our fixer drone. Onto our gloves, 9.1% weapon damage, max crit chance. And onto the knee pads, we have 14.8% weapon damage and again max crit chance. Looking at our skills, fixer drone is pretty nice. It's just a good heal to have over time. Its duration is pretty long, so it's there near enough all the time. 25 seconds cooldown, you rarely ever feel that, to be fair. So we are healing for 44k a second, I believe it is, and it feels like that. It's just a really nice heal to have. I use this to solo all my heroic content because I only do heroic. Challenging it's just way too easy and the drops are just terrible. Whereas heroic, fair enough, you don't get as many drops, but now and again you'll get, majority good drops, I'd like to say. We're going to go over the mods real quick. So we have 6.2% duration. We have 9.2% health, so the NPCs can't take it out so easily, and then we have 6.8% armor repair. And that is it for the drone. And of course we are running the shield. I don't think I've got any amazing mods on here. We have 4.6% shield health, sorry. We have 4.3% deflector damage. Not that we get that close that it's going to give them any damage. And that's pretty much it. Just another mod with some shield health, because we want it to last as long as possible. That's pretty much the build. We're going to go through the stats real quick. So we have 60% crit chance, 84.6% critical hit damage, 111% headshot damage, 6% damage to armor. We have 67.4% all weapon damage bonus, 15% LMG damage. We have 30% rifle damage. These are the talents and the brand sets that we are currently running. Going down to our defensive, we are hella squishy with 726k armor. Health, it doesn't matter because there's so little of it. Of course, we get 50% pulse resistance because of the specialist. And that is pretty much it, guys. These are the stats for the skills. That is pretty much the build. Let me know what you think about Negotiators Dilemma in the comment sections below. I'm happy to discuss it with you guys. Be respectful with dropping your opinions. Don't cuss anybody out. And remember, guys, these builds are just templates and blueprints. Don't give anybody shit for, you know, checking out YouTube videos, checking out YouTubers' builds, because, you know, it just gives people ideas. So, yeah. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new for lots more Division 2 content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Mob Squad.
Reinforcements en route.
I'll pin them down. You see me hit him?
Friendly combatants nearby.
Fire in the hole! Ah, no fucking way! No attack from the... How does it feel? You slide back!
I can destroy that. That cover will help me flank them. I've got your back.
Drop the fire over that cover?
Friendly combatants detected.
Deal! What do we do? Need armor.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Stop them healing! One bar for the buck. Briggs doesn't want me.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
This is not the time!
I'll keep an eye out for you.
Fuck! They got a shield! I have to find a new spot.
I'll flank them. From the side.
I'll get you in the end. Take your map. Got a shield!
Friendly combatants nearby.
Help! They're on you!
Moving up on their flank!
Give you some cover! We destroyed that! Now!
Shit, I gotta move! Ow!
Mission exit!
They're coming! I'll try and get around them!
Friendly combatants detected.
I'm not afraid of you! Got spare ammo? You?
Okay, okay.
Found them! They're bleeding out!
No!
Heavily armored hostile detected.
We didn't do anything to you! What now? It's go.
Under there!
Another one has joined the fallen.
Now they're screwed!
Friendly combatants nearby.
I knew we could do it!
Supply room access unlocked.